I was seeing that the fun part wasn't going to be there. And it wasn't worth playing then if I wasn't going to have fun and enjoy it.
When Magic Johnson revealed his HIV diagnosis in 1991, it sent shockwaves through sports and beyond. Back then, very few people believed someone could live a long life after news like that. Yet somehow, Magic kept moving forward, decade after decade, defying expectations. As the years passed, his health, his longevity, and his story sparked endless speculation. People kept asking the same quiet question: how was this really possible? For more than 3 decades, those rumors have lingered in the background. Now, 34 years later, Magic Johnson is finally speaking openly about the truth behind them. Magic's wild years nobody talks about. Even before he stepped onto a college court, Earvin Magic Johnson had the entire basketball world watching. Recruiters from powerhouse programs like UCLA and Indiana were lining up, hoping to land the electrifying young guard from Lansing, Michigan. For most players, the decision would have been easy: follow the spotlight, join a national giant, and chase glory somewhere far from home. But Magic had something different in mind. Instead of leaving Michigan, he decided to stay close to his roots. The real battle for his future came down to 2 schools, the University of Michigan and Michigan State. In the end, the deciding factor wasn't the campus, the prestige, or even the recruiting hype. It was opportunity. Michigan State's head coach, Judd Heathcote, made a simple but powerful promise: Magic would play point guard. That might not sound like much, but to Magic, it meant everything. The position allowed him to control the game, to pass, to create, to run the floor exactly the way he envisioned basketball should be played. Add in a roster already filled with strong talent, and the decision suddenly became clear. East Lansing was the place. But college life at Michigan State wasn't just about basketball. It was also where Magic met someone who would end up becoming one of the most important people in his life: Erletha "Cookie" Kelly. Their relationship, however, didn't begin like a fairy tale. According to Cookie's memoir, Believing in Magic, she was initially hesitant about dating a rising basketball star. Campus athletes often came with attention, distractions, and plenty of complications. Cookie wasn't sure she wanted to step into that kind of spotlight. Eventually, though, she agreed to give the relationship a chance. Those early months together were filled with excitement, curiosity, and a bit of uncertainty. Cookie later described the beginning of their romance as an awkward dance toward intimacy. Both of them were young, figuring things out, and navigating a relationship that was constantly under watchful eyes, and there were plenty of those eyes. Magic's growing reputation on campus meant he attracted attention everywhere he went, especially from other women. Cookie quickly realized that dating a star athlete meant dealing with constant competition for his attention. Then came the moment that truly tested their relationship. About 3 months into dating, Cookie decided to stop by Magic's dorm room one day. But instead of finding him alone, she was greeted by another woman standing there in slippers and a robe. The girl looked completely comfortable, almost like she lived there. Magic brushed it off with a simple explanation. He insisted she was just a friend. That phrase would eventually become very familiar to Cookie. Things only got more complicated when Magic attended the Delta Ball, an exclusive formal event hosted by the Delta Sigma Theta sorority. Instead of bringing Cookie, he showed up with another woman. Cookie didn't hear about it from Magic himself. She discovered the truth in a much more unexpected way. While cleaning out his car one day, she found a photograph. In the picture, Magic was dressed sharply in a tuxedo, standing beside a woman wearing an elegant gown and a fur coat. They looked like the perfect couple attending a glamorous night out. Naturally, Cookie confronted him. Magic tried to explain it away, claiming he had to take the girl and once again insisting she was just a friend. But the truth eventually surfaced. He had been seeing the other woman on the side. Rather than face the situation head-on, Magic chose a different path. He ended the relationship with Cookie. In her memoir, Cookie later reflected on that painful moment, recognizing it as the first sign of a pattern that would define their relationship for years. Magic struggled with commitment and often approached relationships with a strong sense of control and independence. Those traits would repeatedly pull the couple apart. And she was right. Their breakup wasn't the end of their story. Instead, it became the beginning of a long and emotional cycle. Over the next 12 years, Magic and Cookie would separate, reunite, argue, forgive, and find their way back to each other again and again. While his personal life remained complicated, Magic's basketball career was soaring. At Michigan State, his talent turned him into one of the most exciting players in college basketball. His dazzling passes, leadership, and infectious energy transformed the team into a national powerhouse. When the Spartans captured the NCAA championship, Magic's legend only grew larger. Soon after, the NBA came calling. In the 1979 draft, the Los Angeles Lakers selected Magic Johnson with the #1 overall pick. It was a massive moment for both the franchise and the young star, and Magic wasted no time delivering. In just his first 3 seasons in the league, he achieved milestones that many players spend an entire career chasing. He earned a spot on the All-Rookie team, quickly became an NBA All-Star, and most impressively, helped lead the Lakers to 2 championship titles. The young guard from Michigan was now living the dream. But behind the scenes, things weren't always as smooth as they appeared. By 1981, tension inside the Lakers organization had started to build. Magic, who would eventually become the face of the franchise, was surprisingly unhappy with the direction of the team. The issue centered around head coach Paul Westhead. Westhead decided to drastically change the team's offensive strategy. Instead of running the fast-paced, ball-moving style that had helped Magic thrive, the coach shifted the focus toward the veteran superstar Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. The new system slowed things down and reduced Magic's role as the primary playmaker. For a player whose entire game revolved around controlling the flow of the offense, it felt like being pushed to the sidelines. Magic didn't stay quiet about it. Frustrated with the situation, he went directly to Lakers owner Jerry Buss and made his feelings clear. He wanted Westhead gone. Buss initially refused to make the change, but Magic wasn't bluffing. He delivered an ultimatum. If the coach stayed, he wanted out. The demand created a dramatic situation inside the organization. The Lakers suddenly had to choose between their rising superstar and their head coach. It didn't take long for Buss to make his decision. Within 24 hours, Westhead was fired. In his place, the Lakers promoted an assistant coach who would go on to become one of the most recognizable figures in NBA history, Pat Riley. While Magic's professional life was filled with championships, fame, and major decisions, his relationship with Cookie continued to experience its own turbulent journey. Even as the years passed and their bond deepened, commitment remained a difficult step. In fact, Magic called off their wedding 3 separate times. Arguments between the couple could become intense. According to Cookie's memoir, Magic had a habit of abruptly ending heated phone conversations by hanging up and refusing to call back. Those moments often left problems unresolved and emotions running high. The most dramatic conflict came during their 3rd engagement. At the center of it was a notorious Lakers pool party. This wasn't a typical celebration with friends and teammates. The event had gained a reputation as a wild, men-only gathering filled with strippers and groupies. Word about the party spread quickly among the families connected to the team. Several wives of Lakers players even contacted Cookie, urging her to put a stop to it. Concerned and frustrated, she called Magic to confront him. The conversation quickly turned heated. Magic kept dismissing the issue and repeatedly ended the call whenever the argument escalated. Finally, Cookie made her stance clear. She told him it had to be a choice, the party or their relationship. Magic didn't hesitate. He chose the party. The call ended abruptly, and he didn't reach out again for several days. The silence only deepened the emotional divide between them. Yet somehow, despite the repeated breakups, arguments, and heartbreak, the connection between Magic and Cookie never completely disappeared. They continued finding their way back to one another. Eventually, after years of uncertainty, the couple decided to give marriage one more chance. When the wedding day finally arrived, the atmosphere carried more than just excitement. It also carried the emotional weight of everything they had been through together. As Cookie walked down the aisle, she noticed her friend Sharon suddenly burst into tears. At first glance, it might have looked like ordinary wedding day emotion, But Cookie understood the deeper meaning behind those tears. They weren't simply about witnessing a beautiful ceremony. They represented relief. After more than a decade of ups and downs, breakups, arguments, late-night phone calls, and lingering doubts, the moment symbolized something powerful. It was the realization that the long, chaotic journey had finally led them to the same place. The diagnosis that shocked the NBA. Less than 2 months after their wedding, Irvin Magic Johnson and his new wife Cookie were supposed to be enjoying the glow of newly married life. Instead, everything changed during what seemed like an ordinary preseason trip. Magic had traveled to Salt Lake City with the Los Angeles Lakers when he suddenly called Cookie. From the moment she picked up the phone, something felt wrong. His voice carried a strange tension, and the conversation felt unusually serious. He told her he was heading home early because he needed to talk to her about something important. When she pressed for details, he refused to explain over the phone and simply said he was on his way to see a doctor. For Cookie, that moment triggered immediate panic. Her mind began racing through possibilities. She wondered if something had happened to his career, if he wanted to end their marriage, or if some other life-altering problem was waiting for her at home. In a desperate attempt to force an answer, she blurted out a question that she probably never imagined would be real. She asked if he had AIDS. Magic said nothing. The silence was chilling. About an hour later, he arrived home. The man who walked through the door did not look like the confident basketball superstar the world recognized. To Cookie, he seemed quiet, withdrawn, and almost diminished by whatever he had just learned. Without speaking much, he gently took her hand and guided her into the den. The two of them sat together, the air thick with anticipation. Then Magic delivered the news that would reshape both of their lives. He told her that he had tested positive for HIV. The moment overwhelmed them. The two of them collapsed into each other, struggling to process what the diagnosis meant. In 1991, HIV was widely believed to be a death sentence. Medical treatments were limited, public understanding was minimal, and the fear surrounding the virus was enormous. But there was another layer to the crisis. Cookie was pregnant. As the shock began to settle, a new wave of fear took over. Both of them worried that their unborn child might also be infected. The uncertainty was terrifying, and neither of them knew what the future might hold. Magic even told Cookie that he would understand if she decided to leave him. In his mind, he felt responsible for bringing this devastating situation into their lives. But Cookie refused to walk away. Instead, she grabbed his hand and placed it against her stomach, making it clear that she was standing beside him. She believed they would face the situation together and encouraged him to pray. In that moment, their focus shifted from fear to survival. Still, Magic knew he had another painful responsibility ahead of him. Before his diagnosis, he had lived a lifestyle that included numerous relationships. Now he had to confront the reality that any of those women could potentially be at risk. Sitting alone with a list of names, he began the difficult process of contacting as many people as he could remember. Each phone call carried the weight of devastating news. He had to explain that he had tested positive for HIV and that they should be tested as well. In an era when public knowledge about the virus was extremely limited, the calls were not only shocking, but deeply frightening for everyone involved. The testing process itself added another layer of emotional strain. Results did not come quickly. Instead, the women who had been contacted, including Cookie, had to wait nearly 2 weeks before learning whether they were infected. For Cookie, those 12 days felt unbearable. The uncertainty created a heavy emotional cloud that seemed impossible to escape. She lived with constant anxiety, wondering if she or her unborn child might be facing a fatal illness. Doctors offered little reassurance at the time. Based on the knowledge available in the early 1990s, they estimated that Magic might have only 3 years to live. Faced with that possibility, Magic tried to cope by focusing on action. He buried himself in planning, organizing, and gathering information. Taking control of logistics helped him feel less powerless. Cookie took a different emotional path. She realized that thinking too far into the future or dwelling on the past only intensified her fear. Instead, she focused on surviving each moment as it came. Her strategy became simple: breathe, make it through the day, and then face the next one. Every morning brought the same wave of dread. She worried constantly about two possibilities: that she might also be HIV positive or that their baby might be infected. Eventually, the results arrived. Both Cookie and the baby tested negative. The relief was overwhelming, but the crisis was far from over. Magic and Cookie now faced another enormous decision. They had to determine how and when to tell the world. For a short time, the Los Angeles Lakers attempted to manage the situation quietly. Public statements described Magic's absence as flu-like symptoms and fatigue from travel, but the explanation could not last forever. Behind the scenes, Magic met with Elizabeth Glazer, a prominent AIDS activist whose own life had been transformed by the disease. She had contracted HIV through a blood transfusion and had unknowingly passed the virus to her daughter. Because of her experience, she had become a powerful advocate for awareness and education. Glazer encouraged Magic to use his fame to help change public understanding of HIV. He agreed. On November 7, 1991, Magic Johnson stepped in front of a packed room filled with reporters and cameras. The announcement he delivered shocked the sports world. He revealed that he had tested positive for HIV and that he would retire from the Los Angeles Lakers immediately. At the time, Magic was only 32 years old. He was still performing at an elite level and had many years of basketball ahead of him. The news sent shockwaves through professional sports and beyond. Veteran news anchors described the moment as difficult to absorb even as they reported it. The story was no longer just about basketball. It became a defining moment in the global conversation about HIV and AIDS. Unfortunately, the reaction also revealed how deeply misunderstood the disease was at the time. Many people immediately assumed that Magic must be gay. The conclusion reflected the widespread misconception that HIV affected only gay men. In reality, the virus had already been spreading through many communities, including heterosexual populations. The rumors were fueled by a moment from the 1989 NBA Finals, when Magic and Detroit Pistons star Isaiah Thomas greeted each other with a friendly kiss on the cheek before a game. What was simply an expression of friendship became a source of speculation when people later tried to interpret Magic's diagnosis. Over time, additional claims circulated suggesting that Thomas himself had privately questioned Magic's sexuality. Whether those rumors were exaggerated or misunderstood, they added to the wave of speculation surrounding Magic's personal life. Meanwhile, the world was still grappling with the trauma of earlier AIDS tragedies, including the death of actor Rock Hudson in the mid-1980s. Medical science had not yet developed the effective treatment combinations that would later allow many HIV-positive individuals to live long and healthy lives. In that climate of fear and confusion, Magic's diagnosis felt like both a medical crisis and a cultural scandal. But not everyone reacted with panic. NBA Commissioner David Stern chose to stand firmly behind Magic. Rather than distancing the league from the controversy, Stern educated himself about HIV and worked to inform players about how the virus actually spread. Doctors were sent to every NBA team to explain the science and answer players' questions. Many athletes worried about whether the virus could be transmitted through sweat or physical contact during games. Medical experts made it clear that those fears were unfounded. With that knowledge, the NBA allowed Magic to return briefly to competition. In 1992, he played in the NBA All-Star Game and delivered a memorable performance that earned him the game's Most Valuable Player award. Later that year, he joined the United States Olympic basketball team, famously known as the Dream Team. Several stars, including Michael Jordan, supported Magic and welcomed him as a teammate. Still, not everyone in the league felt comfortable. Some players expressed concern about the potential risks of competing against someone with HIV. Karl Malone was among the most vocal critics, openly questioning whether the league could guarantee players' safety. The controversy and constant scrutiny eventually became exhausting. Just months later, Magic decided to step away from professional basketball again. He explained that he did not want the ongoing debate to harm the sport he loved. In later years, Magic admitted that he sometimes regretted retiring so quickly. If he had known how dramatically HIV treatment would improve, he might have approached the situation differently. But at the time, the future was uncertain, and his priorities began to shift. Magic realized that his platform could serve a new purpose. Instead of focusing solely on basketball, he began dedicating his energy to educating people about HIV and challenging the fear and misinformation surrounding the virus. His commitment even led him to join a National AIDS Commission under President George H.W. Bush. However, the partnership proved short-lived. After only 8 months, Magic resigned, frustrated by what he believed was a lack of urgency from the government. In his resignation letter, he expressed deep disappointment, arguing that the administration was not doing enough to confront the growing epidemic. For Magic Johnson, the battle had moved beyond basketball. His life's mission had transformed into something far larger than the game that made him famous. The Lakers' betrayal nobody expected. After stepping away from professional basketball, Earvin Magic Johnson refused to fade quietly into retirement. Instead of slowing down, he launched an entirely new chapter of his life, one that would transform him from an NBA icon into a powerful businessman and investor. While many former athletes struggled to reinvent themselves after their playing days ended, Magic approached the transition with the same energy and ambition that had defined his career on the court. His focus quickly turned toward business opportunities in urban communities, areas that large corporations had often overlooked. Magic believed those neighborhoods were full of potential and deserved serious investment. Through theaters, restaurants, and real estate ventures, he built a business empire aimed at revitalizing underserved communities while creating economic opportunity. But despite his success in business, basketball never truly left his life. The Los Angeles Lakers remained deeply connected to his identity. Ever since the team selected him with the first overall pick in the 1979 NBA Draft, Magic had been inseparable from the purple and gold franchise. Over the decades, he had worn nearly every possible hat within the organization. He was not only a superstar player, but also briefly a head coach, later a minority owner, and eventually a high-level executive. For Magic, the Lakers were more than a team. They were family. That connection made his eventual role as president of basketball operations feel like the fulfillment of a lifelong dream. According to interviews he gave over the years, the opportunity meant far more than just another professional title. It was tied directly to the legacy of the late team owner, Dr. Jerry Buss. Before his death, Buss had envisioned a future where his daughter Jeannie Buss and Magic Johnson would help guide the franchise together. In 2017, that vision became reality. Jeannie Buss took full control of the organization and officially placed Magic in charge of basketball operations. With one of the most iconic franchises in sports now under his leadership, Magic had a mission: bring the Lakers back to championship relevance. The defining moment of his tenure came in the summer of 2018. Using his reputation, connections, and charisma, Magic successfully convinced one of the greatest players in basketball history to join the team. LeBron James signed a massive 4-year contract worth $153 million, instantly transforming the Lakers into one of the most talked-about teams in the league. The move generated enormous excitement throughout the basketball world. After years of rebuilding and disappointment, Los Angeles suddenly looked like a franchise ready to rise again. But the 2018 to 2019 season did not unfold the way anyone expected. Instead of a deep playoff run, the team struggled with injuries, chemistry problems, and inconsistent performances. When the regular season ended, the Lakers had missed the playoffs entirely. For LeBron James, it marked the first time since 2005 that he failed to reach the postseason. Criticism quickly followed. Much of the blame landed on Magic Johnson and the front office. Questions began circulating about roster construction, leadership decisions, and the overall direction of the organization. Then came a moment that stunned the sports world. Just before the Lakers' final game of the season, Magic called an unexpected press conference. Without warning even his closest colleagues, he announced that he was stepping down as president of basketball operations. The announcement shocked fans, players, and media alike. During the emotional press conference, Magic appeared visibly shaken as he explained his decision. After 2 difficult years in the role, he admitted that he no longer enjoyed the job the way he once had. He missed the freedom of his previous life, being a businessman, an ambassador for the game, and someone who could simply celebrate basketball without the stress of running an entire organization. Behind the scenes, however, the situation was far more complicated. Reports soon surfaced suggesting that Magic's departure had been fueled by tension within the Lakers' leadership. According to several insiders, he had begun to feel betrayed by people inside the front office. One of the most explosive allegations involved a chain of internal emails between Lakers general manager Rob Pelinka and owner Jeannie Buss. According to reports shared by NBA journalists, those emails included criticism of Magic's performance as an executive. Even worse, Magic allegedly ended up receiving copies of those messages. Whether it happened accidentally or through standard communication protocol, the result was the same. Magic reportedly saw conversations that suggested some colleagues were questioning his work ethic and leadership. For someone who had devoted decades to the Lakers organization, the discovery was deeply upsetting. Seeing those opinions written out in private correspondence reportedly played a major role in his decision to walk away. The situation became even more complicated because the emails did not appear to include strong defenses of Magic from ownership. That silence may have reinforced the feeling that his support inside the organization was fading. When Magic later referred to being backstabbed, many observers believed he was referencing this exact situation. His resignation itself also created controversy. Instead of privately informing Jeannie Buss beforehand, Magic announced his decision publicly in front of reporters. The move caught the organization completely off guard and created a chaotic moment for the franchise. After the announcement, the Lakers released an official statement praising Magic's legacy. The organization emphasized that few individuals had contributed more to the team's identity than he had. They described him as not only an icon, but also an important part of the Lakers family. Still, the sudden nature of his exit left many unanswered questions. Some reports also suggested that Magic's management style had created tension within the organization from the very beginning. According to anonymous staff members who later spoke with journalists, his leadership approach could be intense and confrontational. Several employees described an environment where Magic demanded complete loyalty to his vision. Some said he made it clear that anyone unwilling to follow his direction could easily be replaced. Critics inside the organization claimed the atmosphere sometimes felt intimidating. A few employees even reported experiencing significant stress while working under his leadership. Magic, however, defended his style. He acknowledged that he was demanding, but insisted that high expectations were necessary when running a professional sports franchise. In his view, tough leadership was simply part of pursuing success. Whether seen as discipline or intimidation, the tension between Magic and some staff members became another factor contributing to his eventual departure. Despite the drama surrounding his exit, Magic's time in the front office did produce one undeniable achievement: bringing LeBron James to Los Angeles. That signing instantly restored relevance to a struggling franchise and set the stage for the team's eventual return to championship contention. Ironically, even LeBron himself was shocked by how abruptly Magic walked away. According to later interviews, the superstar first heard the news while preparing for a game. An assistant informed him during warm-ups, and at first he thought it had to be a joke. After checking his phone and seeing the headlines, the reality sank in. LeBron later admitted that he felt blindsided. Much of his decision to join the Lakers had been built on conversations with Magic about the future of the team. Learning about the resignation at the same time as the rest of the world left him frustrated. Still, Magic's departure from the Lakers did not mean he disappeared from the Los Angeles sports scene. If anything, his influence continued to grow. Years earlier, he had become part of the ownership group that purchased the Los Angeles Dodgers baseball team. The acquisition, completed in 2012 for a record-breaking $2 billion, marked one of the most significant ownership deals in sports history. As the public face of the group, Magic played a major role in restoring excitement around the franchise. Under the new ownership, the Dodgers quickly became one of baseball's most successful teams, winning multiple division titles and returning to the World Series. Magic also expanded his involvement in soccer by joining the ownership group behind Los Angeles Football Club. The club entered Major League Soccer with enormous momentum, quickly becoming one of the league's most competitive teams. Even women's professional basketball became part of his portfolio. In 2014, Magic purchased a stake in the Los Angeles Sparks of the WNBA. League officials welcomed his involvement, believing his reputation and business experience would help elevate the organization. Through these ventures, Magic Johnson continued shaping the sports landscape of Los Angeles long after his playing days ended. 34 years later, Magic Johnson finally confirms the rumors. Magic Johnson has been living with HIV since 1991, and the path he's walked since that day has been anything but simple. It's been a journey marked by uncertainty, resilience, and moments that probably felt impossible back when the diagnosis first shook the sports world. 2 decades later, in 2011, Johnson sat down with Newsweek and spoke openly about the reality behind his health. By that time, he had managed to remain AIDS-free, something that surprised many people who remembered the fear surrounding HIV in the early 90s. Over the years, he had heard the same comment repeated again and again. People saying that HIV couldn't be that serious if someone like Magic Johnson looked so healthy and energetic. But Johnson has always been quick to shut down that idea. He explained that his experience isn't the universal story of HIV. In his case, the medication worked remarkably well with his body chemistry, allowing him to maintain a level of health that many people living with the virus haven't been fortunate enough to achieve. He considers that a blessing, not a standard outcome. Johnson has never pretended his situation represents everyone else's reality, and he often reminds people that many families have faced far harsher battles with the disease. The question that still fascinates people is how an NBA legend managed to thrive after being diagnosed with a virus that, in 1991, was widely described as a death sentence. Part of the answer came just a few years after that life-changing announcement. In 1994, Johnson's doctors placed him on a new experimental treatment, a powerful combination of antiretroviral medications often referred to as a cocktail. At the time, the therapy was still being tested and had not yet become the standard approach to HIV treatment. Choosing to take it carried real uncertainty. In many ways, Johnson was stepping into the role of a pioneer, trusting a medical strategy that hadn't fully proven itself yet. That decision turned out to be a turning point. While the world of medicine continued searching for a cure, something that still doesn't exist today, the treatment helped control the virus in Johnson's body and allowed him to live a life that once seemed out of reach years past. And slowly the narrative around his diagnosis began to shift. What once felt like a countdown became something entirely different, a long, evolving life story. One of the most powerful chapters came when Johnson became a grandfather. He later described the moment he held his granddaughter and watched his son, Andre, step into fatherhood. For Johnson, it was more than just a family milestone. It was a moment filled with perspective. Standing there, seeing the next generation of his family begin its own journey, he realized how far he had come from that uncertain day in 1991. The emotions hit him hard. He admitted he had to fight back tears because back then, no one really knew what the future looked like. At the time of his diagnosis, very few people living with HIV were expected to grow old, let alone live long enough to watch their children raise families of their own. Yet there he was, decades later, witnessing exactly that. For Johnson, the moment wasn't just about becoming a grandfather. It was proof that life had continued in ways he once feared it might not. The boy he had raised was now a father himself, and Johnson was still there to see it, still present to share the joy.